You are not just another hustling salesperson. You are the expert, the resource, the valuable partner for your clients. And how you grow your business should reflect how your clients see you. Welcome to the Roadmap to Grow Your Business podcast. We generate referrals without asking, build positive client experiences, and help you take control of your business. Here's your charmingly sarcastic host, Stacey Brown Randall.
Hey there, and welcome to episode 168 of the Roadmap to Grow Your Business podcast. I'm your host, Stacey Brown Randall. I love this episode that you guys are going to get to listen to. Now, I love it anytime I get to bring on a Growth by Referral student to come on the podcast and talk about their experience going through the GBR program or any one of my trainings and programs. You guys have heard Neil, you've heard David, you've heard Aaron, Jackie, Catherine. We have had a number of students on. And I bring on about 2 a quarter, and we'll keep doing that as well because I love those conversations. And I love what they teach you guys as they talk about doing what I teach them to do. But what I really love about Diana's story is that she could be any one of you right now listening. Yes, she is actually a real estate agent, right? So she is Diana Collin of the McCready Realty Group. She's in Portland and she is connected with Keller Williams. So yes, she is actually a real estate agent and she's been in business for 30 years. Most of us have not. But she found me, and this is how I think she connects to you guys. She found me because she was looking for a better way to generate referrals. And that better way being more authentic and just feeling right. Being authentic and feeling right. Plus also working and having success. That's what we're all after, right? So that probably sounds a little familiar. I know. You may not be a real estate agent and you may not have been in business for 30 years, but I want you to take a minute and just listen to our conversation as she talks about the big mindset shift she had to undergo to truly embrace what I teach, but also more importantly, what she knew she was looking for as she happened to stumble upon me and to then figure out if I could fit the bill that she was ultimately looking for. Now, if you are a real estate agent listening to this podcast, you're going to hear me talk about some of the things she brings up that I'm like, yep, I hear that from most every real estate agent that goes through my program. But not only, right? Some of the mindset shifts she had to make and some of the belief patterns she had to let go of because of training she had been in and other, referral experts and gurus out there in the world that she had been listening to for decades. She had to release some of those thought processes to truly find something that was going to work for her. And you don't have to be a real estate agent for that to be your reality. Some of you, whether you're a financial advisor or you're an attorney or you're a business coach or you're a consultant or you're an interior designer, you may have been taught ways to generate referrals that never fit you too, just like Diana. And you guys are going to get to listen to her talk about how she overcame that, what it took for her to overcome that, and when those light bulb moments actually happened for her, which is great. And then, of course, she's also going to talk about how she's applying the principles and tactics that we teach in the Growth by Referrals program to her business. And then again, some of those beliefs and behaviors and thought processes that she had to let go of. It is a great conversation, and it is one that I think will serve you well if you take just the next few minutes, well, a little bit longer than that, try 20 minutes to listen to. I think you're really going to enjoy this. So let's dive in to my interview with Diana Collin. So Diana, I really think it's important for us to start with how long you have been a real estate agent.
35 years.
And you're in Portland?
Portland, Oregon. So I cover the Portland metro area. And I've been licensed since 1986 in residential real estate.
I think that's such an important, some people may be like, okay, why is Stacey starting with the conversation of how long you've been in business? But I think that's really valuable that people who are listening to this episode are kind of putting it in context of you are somebody who has grown a successful real estate practice. And it's not like, well, growing a successful business just so happens to be a real estate practice. It's not like you've been doing this 3 to 5 years, but 35 years. Like you, as we say, right? This is not your first rodeo, right? From that perspective, in terms of how real estate has changed, what changes you have had to make as the industry was changing, as the market has ebbed and flowed in your area as well. I mean, you've seen a lot. And I think it's so valuable to kind of just have everybody think about this from the perspective of this is somebody who's been doing her profession as a real estate agent, as a realtor for 35 years. And you have had a successful business, and you get a lot of that business from repeat clients, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Very successful in that I've been able to, support my family, put kids through school, buy properties, have everything. I mean, it's not just a hobby or a side gig. It's, it's something that's been very, very supportive financially. It's been, real estate's been very, very good to me. The repeat client business, just having done this for so long and staying in touch with those past clients, it does mean that most people who are thinking about buying or selling again, and they've worked with me because I stay in touch with them on a regular basis, they will come back to me. And then I get to, do another deal with them.
Yes. And I think that also speaks so highly of how you take care of them when they are a client, right? From having that client experience perspective that I always talk about. We just finished up this whole big series on the podcast about the client experience and what that looks like, and breaking it down and defining the stages and the touch points and everything. And I always say there are multiple reasons, but the two top reasons why you should want to have a sticky, intentional client experience is one, because we want to get referrals, but two, for the exact reason you have proven and shown, is that we want repeat clients. If we're in an industry where our clients can come back to use us again, whether that's 7 years later or 1 year later, we want to be the person that they choose. So I think that speaks so highly of how well you have run your business and how well you take care of your clients, that they keep coming back to you. And that has funneled some of the growth in your business over the years. So I want to give a little bit of the backstory just to the listeners so they kind of understand when you joined the Growth by Referrals program. So that was March of 2019, and you had heard me on a real estate podcast. And so you joined Growth by Referrals in March of 2019. Like we're 30 plus years here into a successful real estate career, right? And you heard me on this podcast, this real estate podcast, and it triggered you to join the Growth by Referrals program. Can you talk about what it was? I mean, you may not remember that exact podcast episode, but can you talk about what it was when you were first learning about me that made you say, hey, 30 successful years, but this is someone I want to listen to. This is someone I want to work with. Like, what triggered you to join the program?
Sure. Yeah, no, I remember it very, very clearly. I mean, it was a huge turning point for me. I have been in a very successful coaching program that many people would know, or real estate agents and lenders would know here in the US for 20 years. The first 15 years of my business, I just did pretty much what every other real estate agent does, or most do. You just kind of go along with it. You do open houses and you hope that you pick up somebody and you hope that you do a great job for your clients and that they'll remember you. But the strategy for staying in touch with people, or even the client experience, was just real hit and miss. And so that's how my business was the first 15 years. And then I met a coach over 20 years ago, and I was in that program for 20 years, and it was, working by referral. And that was the first time I had heard that, you can actually organize it in such a way and actually count, how many contacts you're making and how many referrals you might get out of your database. I mean, first of all, to have a database. So I put all of that together and I worked the system very diligently. And it's been successful, but all along the way, I've never felt great about it. And the part I didn't feel great about was a lot of it felt inauthentic to me. It felt that, yes, I would, call them and check in with them, and it's all about them. Be sure it's all about them. But then I would turn it around to be about me. And that was the asking. That was the reminding them, I'm never too busy for any of your referrals. And, who do you know that might want to buy a home, sell a home, or invest in real estate in the next 30 days? Or, it was always that. It was always, don't forget the hook. And it just seemed to turn around on me. And that didn't feel so great. I just wanted it to be about them. And then I was, the whole database, the whole thing was a little confusing to me. I was putting people into categories, but each category was still a mix. And we may talk about this a little bit later, but it was a mix of, what is a referral? And in this case, we were counting repeats as referrals. Well, those people are referring themselves, so they must be a referral. And it was just all kind of mixed up and confusing. And so when I heard you were actually being interviewed by somebody on somebody else's webinar or something. And what I heard was, you can do this, you can do it without asking, and you can do it in an even more organized way. And guess what? A referral is a human being actually giving you a referral. It's not one of your past clients coming back to you. They're two completely different things. And these people need to be treated completely differently in a lot of ways. So I grabbed onto that. I thought, I think this is it. This is the answer I've been looking for, to just kind of take me out of that feeling of being inauthentic. And the other thing was, putting my business card all over things and my stamp all over things. And again, it was like I would give somebody something, a little gift, and, yet it was still me all over it. And that's what we were taught. And that never felt quite right. So I wanted to turn that around.
I love you sharing all of that, because I think it's so important for people to understand that there were pieces of things that you had learned in the past that were working, let's just say, well enough, right, for you to be able to have a real estate practice that was obviously providing for you and doing things for you. But there was a disconnect you were having with some of the tactics and principles that you were being taught by others. And when you joined GBR, right, you kind of had to untangle yourself from what you had been taught and really lean into the fact that that's not who you are. And I want this to look and feel different. And being able to do that, right? Being able to like disassociate from those old thoughts that you had to kind of let go of in terms and looking at the referral part of your business completely differently. I mean, you really kind of had to let go of things. I think it may have been easier for you though, because you were already uncomfortable with some of the things you were being taught by your old coaching program to do. So it kind of helped, right, from that perspective for you to untangle yourself. But, were there any other kind of like those old thoughts you had to let go of to untangle to really see how you could correctly apply the principles and the tactics that I teach in the Growth by Referrals program?
I do remember the frustration. And, I would email you, Stacy, I don't get this. These were the tracking sheets you wanted us to fill out. And it was just a completely different way of looking at things. So different. Like, what is a referral source? That's somebody who actually gives you referrals. But in my database, everybody is a referral source. They can be, so therefore they are. And they weren't separated out. Now there were, we ABC'd them. And so I had my A pluses, but I had a lot of input. People would tell me, different coaches and the system would tell me, well, really those people should be who you've recently worked with. Those should be your past, clients in the last year or two, or those should be people that you have a really deep relationship with. Those should be the people you really, really like and you want to hang out with, or those should be people who have actually given you referrals or even multiple referrals. So that was the big mix up. I would look at a person and I would think, well, I feel like they're a referral source, but then I would have to look at the numbers and realize, not really. Yeah, they're really nice. I really like being with them. They were a great past client and they're not a current referral source. So that, reworking the database and separating all that out, but especially using your Excel spreadsheets has been, now it feels very natural, but back then it didn't. Now I love it. I'm really loving all of the spreadsheet and getting people and numbers in there and quantifying what I really have. It was also just, it was a reality check. No, this is what you really have. You have these people that come back to you and you have this handful of people that refer you. Now how can we start to grow the referral piece of it?
I remember that conversation that we had. And I remember, I couldn't see you, right? Because we were just having a conversation, but I could feel the light bulb go off when you're like, oh, those are my referral sources. Those are my repeat clients. And these are my real numbers. And thinking that, I get, 40, 50 referrals a year. And you're like, wait, actually a large percentage of those are repeat clients that came through and they're not referrals, and your referrals being less than you thought. It, again, right. The fact that you had to learn this different way of looking at the information and seeing it differently. And specifically, for those of you who are not in the GBR program, what Diana is referring to is this process you go through in the very beginning where you actually have to do this thing called the client look back tracker and the prospect look back tracker, where you go through and identify who are your referral sources by looking back at where all your clients and your prospects came from. And it usually is a light bulb moment for folks to be like, oh my gosh, what I thought I had is not what I had. And most of the time people are like, and it's less, right? And it's less than I thought I had, which is not great, but we have to know where we're starting from if we have any hope to figuring out ultimately where we want to be. And so it was just that reality. And it's a light bulb, kind of like a gut check moment, I think, for a lot of people when they realize, oh, this is actually what my referral world looks like, what my referral results, my referral reality looks like. And, I see it with multiple industries. It's not just the real estate industry. If you're in a particular industry, whether it's like a financial advisor or like you've been doing any kind of sales training or an insurance agent, just those two come to mind, where you've been overtaught like real estate agents, because there are so many sales trainings and coaches and things out there that you can learn from. You've been overtaught, right? Specific ways to think about your business and your referrals, and in particular your database. But when we start peeling that back to look at what truly is fact versus what we want it to be or what we think it could be, it can be a very stark reality for people. And I would say when the number one question I get from real estate agents when they come into the program is that same light bulb moment you had of, oh, wait, that's who refers me. And these people are just repeat clients, and really kind of combing through their database. And I've talked about this before on other like real estate podcasts that I've been on, is that I always know when I've got a real estate agent that's come into my program, because it's like that question I know is coming. Some of them get it right away. And some of them they're decades ingrained in how they look at something, and they just need to pull it apart. And then for you, right? Like when the light bulb went off, you're like, I got it. And now I have clarity that I've never had before, which I think is awesome. And that's one of the things that I would say, a lot of the beliefs and behaviors and the thought processes for real estate agents in particular, that kind of have to change and shift for my program to work to get them the referrals they ultimately want. And of course, it is, we've mentioned the database, like defining the whole database as clients without having them in actual distinct categories like current clients, previous clients, prospective clients, and then referral sources being separate. Or a lot of real estate agents will think about their marketing tactics, like the monthly giveaways or the monthly contests they're running, to be the thing that's going to generate referrals from their referral sources or from others, and having to pull back that mentality of, just like you said, when we do something for a referral source, it's for them. And the asking piece or the gift with your promotional logo on it, or doing a contest, right, where there's only one winner, it's more about the agent than it ever is about the referral source. And that's the relationship that we want to build. And so I think that there is a lot of that I see with agents when they kind of come into the program. They're not the only industry, but it is very prevalent in that industry. And just like you've spoken to, it's like you're having to rethink, right, or rework how you think about referrals.
Yeah, that's all so true. And, people may wonder, well, what's the big deal? Why? So what about referrals? I mean, you've got a 35-year business. I mean, come on, you ought to be able to just kind of skate along now, right? People are just going to reach out to you. And, I don't know about other industries, but real estate's very competitive. We have over 8,000 licensed agents in the Portland metro area alone. When the market is good, everybody wants to get their license. And so I want to, stay in touch with and serve the people that I do know, so that they will repeat their business with me, or, give me a referral. But if I only depended on the repeat, if that's all I depended on, I wouldn't have as much business. It's the referrals that grow the business. And so if I want to grow it or keep it healthy, keep that fresh business coming in, then I've got to have these referrals. So that's why I'm so focused on it. So not only the referral sources, but who are the prospective referral sources. And now going through your program, let's see, what am I doing right now? That the referring machine program. And, now really diving a little bit deeper on who these people are, and how I can be in touch with them and, develop that relationship with them so that they may be a referral source for me.
Exactly. And I think and that's one of the reasons, like when people come into the GBR program, I'm always like, okay, so the Growth by Referrals program is going to teach you to uncover who are your existing referral sources. And then my framework and strategy for how we build a plan and the language we use to take care of those referral sources, with the focus being on them and not us. And then, like you just mentioned, but most people also need to develop new referral sources. They need to identify potential referral sources, whether it's clients or COIs or another group, right? They need to identify potential referral sources, meaning people who've never referred them, that they want to refer them, and then go through that process. We call it that running 5 and keeping warm that I know you're working on now. And it's going through those potential referral sources, identifying them, and then cultivating them through the running 5, keeping warm process to turn them into referral sources, meaning getting that first referral from them and then being able to take care of them with your existing referral source plan moving forward. And so actually in the Growth by Referrals program, we separate out that training. And it used to be much more like, yo, you could go through it at the same time. And over the years, we're like, no, you need to focus on one. And that could just be the core GBR program. And then jump over to where you are, which is the referring machines, which used to be called Increase Your Referral Sources Masterclass. It's now that referring machines training. We just rebranded it and then we redid it. So it has some more information into it in addition to what it had before, because those are 2 plans, right? There are 2 processes that you're executing on in your business. And I think for you, that's really kind of helped you, get to that point of distinctly being able to look at, here's who refers me and here's how I take care of them. And when I see them, here's the language I get to use with them. And then here's the people that I want to refer me. And here's how I'm cultivating a relationship with them. And here's how I use other type of language with them, right? To get them to start referring me. And here's how I try to cultivate that relationship and see how I can help them. And so in your mind, you can see it as 2 distinct plans and processes that you're working on. We also didn't start them at the same time, right? It's like you clearly been working on getting a plan in place to take care of your referral sources and been working on that. And then moving into, okay, I really need to get some potential referral sources. So you've been having access to the GBR program for a while and kind of soaking all of this stuff in. And just looking at your 2021 results for referrals received, kind of at that 6-month mark, that was the last check-in that we did since you're in the inner circle back at the end of, sometime in July, but we were looking back on the first 6 months of the year. You're almost at 50% of your referral goal. And now you're very clearly identifying, okay, now I need to grow that number even more. Right. So it's great. 6 months in, we're almost 50% of goal. That should mean we should hit goal by the end of the year, bearing any major external market things that happen in your area that we didn't foresee coming. Right. Or, global pandemics and the like. Right. But now you having this focal point of, I need more referral sources so that I can get more referrals and have that stronger referral growth. It's like a new way to look at running your business. So how does that feel for you?
It feels so much more efficient, so much more focused. I really like the GR program and what you've done you could take it in bite sizes and, apply some of these spreadsheets. Okay. So, the look back tracker and, things like that. And it's just you just take it a piece at a time and it builds and it builds and it builds. And I'm now at the point where I can really see how it's definitely going to benefit the business, how much more efficient I feel, focused. Before my marching orders were, make 5 calls a day, go see people. And there was just nothing specific about it. And so to know exactly who I'm talking to and why, and what I can do. We built out the touch points for the year, and I had something similar before. But that was the thing, Stacey. I kept saying, "Wait a minute, these touch points. Now these are just for referral sources. What about the other 300 people in my database? Don't they all get that?" And then so that's where I was getting frustrated. Is like, wait, this is just for referral sources. And you definitely have a program, and we have ideas and things to take care of past clients and other people in the database. But the focus that this has brought has just it's given me more time to actually focus on real estate and a little bit less time to have to deal with the lead generation side of it in a lot of ways. And I really look forward to it. I mean, it's given me a new energy because it feels so authentic. It's referrals without asking.
So I love hearing what you have shared because it's, for me, I know what's going to happen when folks go through the program. And then I get someone like you who comes on and says, yes, that's what's going to happen when you go through the GBR program. And you've shared so much about the shift that you made in your business, not only from your mindset, but from the strategies that you deploy, going from one way to this way, the new way, this referrals without asking way, which of course I'm thrilled that you are one of my clients inside the program because I love working with you as well. But is there anything else you wanted to add that you think anybody else should know if they're considering the GBR program?
Wow. Well, it's been an amazing journey for me. So thank you, Stacy, and thank you for working with me and making the program available, and then these other additional programs as well. And I just look forward to the continued growth. I'm very excited about things to come now that I feel like I've built a couple of these systems and got them in place and got my thinking turned around a little bit. I think anybody who is considering this, it's simple. It may not be that easy, but it is simple. The way Stacy has this laid out, you can really take this step by step. And, at first, some of it might not make sense, but as you build it, you'll begin to see it and you'll be able to see the results and what this would mean to your business. And I think anybody would be excited once they're in there to see the potential and how they can grow that and have a wonderful business. Everybody should have a great business. I mean, if you're an entrepreneur, solopreneur, independent contractor, you ought to have a really great business. And I think this is a program that will definitely help get you there.
Oh, that is so great to hear. Thank you so much, Diana, for sharing. I love having you as a student in the GBR program and also as a member of the Inner Circle. You are such a joy. And also in my Goal Finishers Club. I love it that you're in multiple of my programs. So I get to spend lots of time with you. But thank you so much for being with me here today and talking to the listeners of the podcast about this, and anyone who's sitting on the fence of joining the GBR program. Hopefully you've helped them. So thank you so much. She really is just a joy. And I do get to spend a lot of time with Diana because she is in a multitude of my programs. She is in, of course, Growth by Referrals, because once you're a member of that, she joined a few years ago, but once you're a member of that, you're a member for life. So you're always a part of that, always a part of the Facebook community, always have access to the programs. But she's also, because she's past her first year in the GBR program, she's also graduated into our Referral Ninja Inner Circle, which actually gives me the opportunity to hang with her every single quarter, which I love being able to connect with my Inner Circle members in that way, to be able to know that every single quarter we are going to have a conversation and I'm going to be able to help them and guide them and give them accountability and all the good things that come from that type of involvement. And then, of course, I mentioned she was a part of the Goal Finishers Club, which is our monthly accountability program, our membership group we have that helps business owners stay accountable to crushing the goals they set for the year. And that's a monthly check-in that I get to do with her. So when I say I feel like I know her, even though we've actually never met in person, when I say I feel like I know her, it's because I get to spend a lot of time with her, learning about her business and helping her, which I think is just fabulous. It's one of the things I love most about the work that I get to do. So hopefully for some of you who are sitting there thinking to yourself, I've got to release some of this old school ways that I've been taught to generate referrals and really embrace a different way, one that would be more authentic and feel more right, but yet still get me results. I hope you enjoyed this interview with Diana. And remember, if you are still looking for more support from me, remember, we've got it all on our website at stacybrownrandall.com. That's right, stacybrownrandall.com. And don't forget, Stacy has an E. You can get there by first heading to the show notes page for this episode, stacybrownrandall.com/168, or just go straight to our homepage, stacybrownrandall.com. There you will find where you can download a free chapter of my book, Generating Business Referrals Without Asking. If you don't already own your own copy, you can take our Referral Ninja quiz and figure out what level you are of a referral ninja. And the big question is, how far away are you from being a referral ninja master? And then on our training page, which is stacybrownrandall.com/training, you'll learn when we're doing our live challenges, when we've got a live webinar, on-demand webinars, when we have other training coming up. All that is hosted on that website on stacybrownrandall.com, where you can find all of this great information. I'm here to help you. And when you want to go deeper with me, of course, then I have my programs that you can participate and invest in as well. All right. So coming up next week, we have episode 169. But coming up after our next episode is actually episode 170. And you guys know what that means. Every 10th episode, so basically any episode that ends in a 0, every 10th episode is the question and answer episode. So I take the questions that you guys email me, that you post in our referrals without asking free Facebook group. I take all those questions and I answer a couple of them on every 10th episode of the podcast. Our last 10th episode was episode 160, and it was all about the client experience. You guys have sent in some great questions for that. And then, of course, we've got episode 170 coming up, and this isn't topic specific. So if you have questions about the client experience, if you've got questions about referrals, business growth in general, any of those topics that you know that I can shed some light on for you, and you want to hear my response from, right? You actually want to hear what I have to say about it. Please ask your questions. You can always hit reply on any email that I send to you. And of course, you can always post it in our referrals without asking Facebook community. All right. Until then, my friends, take control and grow your business. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to the Roadmap to Grow Your Business podcast. To access all resources and links mentioned in today's show and to connect with Stacy, head over to www.stacybrownrandall.com.